chariot. The reason it's on the chariot is only no rationalization. I'm picking up Krishna and Balaram, and I want to offer this to them first, not that I sit music. And imagine all the excuses he had. Like this. Not doing the service of Krishna, and we have it. He could have stayed up all night. So how the cowherd boys run before Krishna because the pastime is such that they had. It describes here why Trisha Arta, Trisha thirst, Arta. They're tormented by thirst and by the Atapa, by the glaring sun of the Nidagda, of the summer. Hidata, they're so distressed that when they get to the water, even though it's Visha, Dusitam, it's spoiled by poison, they immediately drank, and not only they drank, but it says, Gavas Chagopascha, and the cows and the cowherd boys, they immediately go in. Immediately at once. They're so tormented by thirst. It was arranged this way. And the reason it was arranged this way is that for the pastime, before there is violence committed to someone, which sometimes is necessary in war or defense, it's really important, if it is justified, that it's publicly known that it's justified. So Krishna had to actually establish something that there has to show that this actually has an effect on you, as an effect, it's a real cause. And the fact that, because in this lake, it was there for so many years, and the snake was there, and okay, it was a big lake within the Jamuna, it was almost like an ocean lake in the Jamuna. But somehow Kali was living there, and Krishna really needed to do this, and he needed a good reason. And what better reason is that he contaminated in such a way that his friends died. And it also shows a very important point that when you come to Vrindavan, you come to Vrindavan to serve. And if you come and disturb others in their service, Krishna will remove you from Vrindavan. You have to come here in a mood of service. Otherwise, Krishna arranges that you don't stay here. So Krishna is establishing this so many points here. I don't tolerate people that come to Vrindavan that disturb others. When you come to Vrindavan, the mood is service. Śrīla Dhanurdhara Swami. He lived in Vrindavan. It's really an amazing story. Before he knew ISKCON, and he got to associate with some of the sadhus here and learn really what the mood of Vrindavan is. And I remember one time I was looking at it, so I went to Barsana and saw Ramesh Baba. Ramesh Baba is the person who we stayed with. Every time I would go to Ramesh Baba, he would go, is there any service? That's the mood of Vrindavan. That's what Krishna likes. Service is putting God and others in the center. Enjoyment and control is putting yourself in the center. When you come to Vrindavan, you go to the Dikpals. Maybe tonight, I don't know, maybe somebody want to go to Kupeshwar Mahadev. You pray that Lord Shiva, you are the controller of the false ego. Please remove mine so I can come to Vrindavan. Because coming to Vrindavan doesn't mean to be the center, it means to be the servant of the center. And in that mood of servant of the center, I enter into that internal potency. And it becomes the place that nourishes me on the soul. So I remember, is there any service to it? And I remember after Dhanurdhara Swami came back to Vrindavan after 10 years. Bhakti Shastra, could you tolerate that? 10 years. The Guru says, go to Tel Aviv and preach. Just imagine how sincere he was. Prabhupada said, go to New Vrindavan. And just see how surrendered. Oh, and he stayed for 10 years. And then finally, none of the people had any independent money, independent life. And then he came, you know, he did. He arrived in Mathura and he walked along the bank of the Jamuna. And he had never seen the Krishna Balaram Mandir before. That's an example of what I'm telling you. It wasn't real, but just a thought of it was pain. That's why they didn't tell the story about the Kaliya serpent and take it, be prepared. Just the thought of it. And when he came in, I was the first person he saw, and I never forget that. What he did, he folded his hands, knowing the mood of Vrindavan, said, is there any service? So Krishna wants that mood in Vrindavan. Wants that mood in Vrindavan. And Kaliya had to be removed. He had his Jal city. And it's a pun. And it means Jal city means the power to create forms out of water. And he made a city there. It's called Jal city. I'm joking. Jal city, and he made the city out of water, and he was living there. And what happens? What's the mood? The mood of a controller and enjoyer. He looks in Maya that the energy of God is separate from God for my enjoyment. And they don't like anybody they possess. They possess for that feeling, I'm the controller, I'm the enjoyer. So you imagine when Krishna eventually goes in and he bangs the water, Kaliya said, hey, what is this going on here? The closest thing I can think about to that kind of consciousness is the bench outside the Hells Angels on 3rd Street. A friend of mine has a bed and breakfast next to the Hells Angels. Between 2 doors is a seat. It's the Hell Angels seat. And if you sit in their seat, or if you they take over the street, if you park in their parking. So this is what Kaliya was. He was like, actually, Kaliya did have a gang called the Naraka Apsaras. It's Sanskrit for Hell's Angels. Argus. But I like the bike gang that Amur Vaishnav wants to join in France. It's called a Hipsa. You got to see this video. They have like 40 people, 50 people on motorbikes, Harleys coming from town. It's like terrified. They get off the Harleys and they start doing kirtan. It's really. You have to chant 32 rounds to get the Hipsa jacket. So. Okay, so God said, let there be light, there's no light. But I'll have a very romantic. Okay, so for this evening. No one should be, Yogamai, you wanna go to Radharman? Or you have something this evening? Yeah, if anybody wants to go too, she knows about it, or if you've been there before. But try to, I think there's enough friendship here, you can group together. And if you want to go to Radharman, you can go now and then come back to dinner, you can take dinner first. And then tomorrow we'll meet at 7:45. And 8:30, we have breakfast. 9:30, we'll walk to some temples. I like the Krishna's great grandson. He carved 360 deities. No. Yeah, of all Krishna's pastimes. So many deities. And we'll go see the original Kaliya deity. I always like that. I love to go to Srila Dhanurdhara Swami's samadhi. So powerful. See Radha Mohan, etc. And then maybe Radha Damodar tomorrow night. We'll see. Okay, thank you. I want to just say for a few minutes. Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.